Yespixel, episode 28, with our guest, Voladin17, aka Tidus Schwinghammer, the judge. Before that, we're going to have Troms do our ad read.
Oh, hey guys, it's me, Troms, from the popular podcast, the Yespixel popular podcast, the Nopixel Yespixel popular podcast. That is us. It's me. I'm Troms, and I'm joined by Hydra and 52 Chains and Voladin, and we're here, and we've got cool announcement. Today's,
you ready for it?
This is it, guys. It's
Here,
time.
It's coming.
Today's. Oh god, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, I'm panicking a little bit. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by. This announcement is brought to you in part by.
Who's it brought by?
Announcements. We got
announcements?
Like announcements in general.
We got announcements?
Yeah.
Okay, my mic fell over in excitement.
We tried for the catch-up sponsorship, but we couldn't get it. So instead, we went bigger. We went up. We went straight up to the top and got announcements.
We're gonna be jillionaires.
Yeah, I know. Now every time somebody makes an announcement, we may or may not make money from that.
Yeah,
probably not.
But we might.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you ever find money on the street, and if the three of us ever find it, that's probably ad revenue for announcements.
Yeah. If you do find money on the street, make sure to send it back to us.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Bits is a great way to do that, by the way. You just put it in your floppy disk drive.
Just send me the money.
Yeah, and what was your address again?
One.
Okay, send it to one.
I live on
one Canada.
One, yeah, I mean, there's only like 10 people who live here, so I'm sure you got a 10% chance to get the right address.
Hey, Voladin, thanks for coming, man. How's it going?
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It's going really well.
Right on. Before we start asking a bunch of questions and espousing all the terrible things you do on the server every day,
yeah, so bad.
Tell us about you. Tell us about the character you play. Who are you?
Who am I? Who do I play? Okay, so my name is Voladin. I am 37 years old. I'm from Canada. One of us Canucks. I used to be my background is like civil engineering, project management, that sort of thing.
Well, like a real career?
Service. Yeah, like an actual real career.
You don't hear those.
That's not very often in the Nopixel community.
And then mental health reared its ugly head, and I suffered from some pretty massive and crippling depression and anxiety. And that's about sort of the same kind of time I discovered Nopixel, actually. So in reality, as much as it has contributed to, I don't want to say ruining my life because it's completely other side. It's actually extremely contributed to me recovering from that and trying to find a better place moving on. My life is still kind of up in the air right now. It's kind of 100% possible. I still have to go find a job at some point here, and I can't really do all the things I want to do streaming. But hey, we're giving it a shot for now.
Oh,
you got this, buddy.
Yeah. So that's a bit of a background. I play Tidus Schwinghammer. I have a few other characters. There is Kimberly Bishop, who I want to have. Honestly, I want to have him be a prosecutor, but I can't, it's really difficult to get my bar license on him. So I might actually have him apply for cops.
Is it hard to get a bar license?
Yeah, well, you got to RP it out, right? And so that's great, except for the only time I can normally get into the server is in the mornings when there's no lawyers around. So one of the things I'm busy selfishly doing on Tidus right now is I'm trying to stack how many other lawyers can be around, so that selfishly I can get Kimbo his bar. But on the other hand, I might just go and apply at to be a cop. I'm not really sure. One of the reasons I've made the character is because of all the great RPers in cop, right? The three of you are perfect examples, as well as like two.
One of us is a self-insert.
Okay, yeah, two. Okay, fair. All right, fair. But like Medi and Trav and Kyle, some of my the three of the bigger, but also some of my favorite people to run into, right?
Wait a minute, was that a Hydra's not a cop joke, or was that a 52 Chains is a self-insert joke? Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I take it back.
It got both sides. It's got both, right? It's, the double.
I'll never there. Tell. Yeah.
But anyway, I made the character to interact more with cops. I love all the RP that happens in the PD, and so that's kind of what I want. What I want him to be in the end. To tell you the honest truth, Chains, he would be great following Carmine around. That would be a duo I would fucking love. He's everything Tidus isn't.
It's like likable and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very, very.
Wait,
much
which one of us is likable?
You know,
Moosebeard, 100%. It's gotta be
100%.
Moosebeard.
Yeah, then I got a couple other characters. I got one that's kind of like I've made him forever ago, but I've never got to play him. His name is Wolfbiter. He's basically essentially he's kind of very similar to Booba in a
Wolf
lot of ways.
spider?
Wolfbiter.
Wolfbiter.
He bites
Wolf
wolves?
Oh
I'm
my
not just the
God.
alpha. I bite the alpha.
Some always ask how Wolfbiter got name. Story go, when Wolfbiter little boy, sitting around fire. Wolf come up to fire, try to bite Wolfbiter. Instead, Wolfbiter bite wolf. Ever
That's
since
awesome.
Wolfbiter name Wolfbiter.
That's great.
What was he before Wolfbiter? What was he before that campfire?
His name is actually William Henry Carver IV. His background's kind of like Tarzan, you know, aristocrat, was lost in the woods and became sort of like a woodsman out there living in the wild. So, but similar kind of to how Fiend would have played Booba back in the day, right?
Mhm.
His stick is he's hunting for the Wendigo, so he's gonna light people on fire. But I just haven't got to play him, right?
Oh, he get
Things,
along with
right?
my other new character that I've been playing. That's great.
yeah, right. And then I have, what else do I have? I have Ron DeClock. There was a group of us from the DOJ who wanted to do like a construction group. There's actually, what's his, Mad Bush, James Hayes. He did up IDs for us. The little QR code just goes to Rickroll. There's actually a clip of me Rickrolling DOD out there on Winston Walker. It's
That's
like
great.
when Walker still had two hands, two arms even. Just like a nice little RP group just to kind of make the world feel more lived in. We haven't done it for a while. I'd like to do that again.
That's great. I love stuff like that. Just little construction workers. Hey,
Yeah,
we're
you
fucking
guys was
working
like-
here.
Around
Yeah,
the courthouse
exactly.
recently, around the hole.
No, we
I think that was
didn't. We didn't
HOA.
do that. Yeah. We didn't do that. But it was same general idea is kind of what we were aiming for. We usually go to like, honestly, kind of like when Kyle does like Hat Carl, sort of like that sort of thing, just kind of be in the way somewhere, but just not to the same extent of being, in the face and causing issues that Hat Carl does, obviously, right? But just more just be there, be in the way, just be an obstacle to people, right? And make the world feel more lived in. And then there may or may not be an as yet renamed Littleman character based on the what happened the other day. Might have to be renamed to Teddy. I don't really know.
Wait, why?
Well, just because Teddy, I wasn't sure what to name him, right?
Wait, what was his name again?
Well, so I was gonna go with so it's gonna be spelled like JTIM, right? So Jim and Tim are both in there. And
Oh,
then I
yeah.
was gonna have him alternate which one is silent, right? So sometimes he'd be like silent
The J is silent. The
right?
T is
As
silent.
soon as someone called him Jim, then he'd switch it to the T is silence, or the other way,
That's
right? I
funny.
thought that would be a good shtick, right? But then they kidnapped Tidus and had him as Teddy Littleman in the plane, so I might just remake it as Teddy
Oh
Littleman.
yeah, that's right. For
That's
some
great.
reason, I thought you'd already played a Littleman. Like you'd already been
hadn't,
around
no.
before.
No, I haven't.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Shane's, I gotta apologize for that, buddy. Thanks for being a pal.
Yeah. So can we talk for people that don't
He's not
know?
even here.
Do you want to set the scene up, Troms? Do you want to kind of tell people? Yeah.
Or the other
It's-
day?
it's
give it a
way
try.
more
I've been talking
simple
for
than
a
you-
while. Yeah.
And it literally means nothing. It's like shoot and break.
I don't know, man. The Reddit's been talking.
It's pretty funny. Well, we had for whatever reason, I know exactly why. We had shotguns.
If you have shotguns, you
Cerberus
use
is-
shotguns.
Cerberus is giving us weaponry to get PD to fire missiles at us.
To
because
increase
they
their
get
missile
$1
budget?
million every missile that's fired.
Why am I not surprised?
That's
This is
so
awesome. I love it.
fucking
So-
funny, dude.
In character, we don't know it's Cerberus, but I can like Bucky. It doesn't do a great job of covering up his voice. Not diminishing.
That's what he gets for
armor in
having a
any way,
voice.
But it's just been it's easy to tell it's him. Let's just say that.
One day, after he does it, you should be like, "All right, bye, Bucky."
Hi, Bucky. No, I don't want to take away that he's been putting a lot of effort into
Oh,
staying
that's good.
anonymous. So I don't want
This
to take
is-
that away from him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they gave us a task of getting missiles fired at us because they get out of character, I know they get $1 million for every missile. And we did that. So they gave us a little care package, and it was like 5 radios or something like that, and 2 shotguns, and like a briefcase with 40,000 in cash. It's perfect. It's like that's exactly what we need. But typically, when we get like class 2 weaponry, we always lose it. We lose it like right away.
You never get to use it.
We never get to use it. And then so we ended up having this, like, we were in like the perfect place for a holdout. And I brought it up. I was like, guys, we could just, and I'm shouting this, and I'm whispering it to, like, I'm stage whispering, but I'm also shouting at the same time. I'm like, guys, Carmine is here. We could collect the bounty from Boris. Yeah. So we did. We shot Carmine, and then we got a little bit of a shootout.
I knew I was. The point I knew I was getting shot was when you started talking Troms.
What do you mean? When I was shouting, stage whispering, and saying?
No, I missed all of that. 'Cause when you're scene lead and everybody's asking you 101 questions.
How busy was that outside? It looked like it was super busy.
Oh my really god, busy. There were they had the store was felony stopped.
You know what's crazy about that? It apparently happened twice, right? I go on duty, and then dispatch says, "Oh, there's a judge that's kidnapped," and I'm pretty sure judges being kidnapped, as a government employee, that's like a EMS being kidnapped or a police officer being kidnapped. It's all hands on deck, and it took me a while to make the call, the alpha call, and I wasn't even sure if I wanted to make the call, but I did. And then a fucking bunch of cops swarmed the building. You guys made it so obvious to find you. I think you even, I don't know who it was, but someone dropped hints. Someone said, gun store with a judge. Like seconds later, gunshots down at the...
they literally let me tell people who called me what was going on. So.
Like we had everything, but nobody, I've noticed when it comes to being in PD, if you don't take the initiative, and you wait for other people to take the initiative, there are 10 other people thinking what you're thinking. And then the judge being kidnapped just goes under the radar.
Yep.
But after those leads, we went to that building, had a shit ton of cops. I didn't want to go in the building because I knew if I went in the building, I've noticed even when I don't try to escalate, shit just escalates.
That's the beauty of Carmine. That's by the way, me too. I was
shouldn't have pissed off that bear.
First time I've been able to chat with you out of character. I fucking love Carmine, man. Thank you so much for everything you do in that RP, man. You're fantastic.
So good.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun playing Carmine.
He's okay.
So I go in there, and then the Littlemans first they're like, okay, we want to leave. Then is like, I think a minute or two into me standing there, Troms looks at me for far too long, and he's like, you know what? Don't we need to kill this guy? And then I see them huddle up. They even call fucking Schwinghammer back there to huddle up. They start whispering shit, and I'm like, okay, I don't like this. This isn't good.
We were not whispering. Maybe they were. I was not.
Yeah, and Tidus was totally trying to get them to not shoot you too. That's definitely something that was happening.
And, totally. They started talking, and next thing you know, I hear a laugh or two, and then I hear Miles laugh, and I hear Trom's laugh, and then I'm like, okay, this is, I'm probably, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares? I'm gonna try and survive, but I know I'm not gonna survive because these guys have fucking shotguns, and I'm on the radio. I'm like,
I'm 2 shots.
I'm on the radio. I'm like, okay, I think I'm okay, but I might get shot. So I'm like, I'm Ocean King, but I might get shot, and they're like, you're not Ocean King then. They're like, no, I'm fine. Boom, and I get shot in the face.
I can hail of bullets closer to the door that whole time. That whole last bit of the conversation, you're like, try to duck, try to duck, try to duck.
Troms is giving me so many cues. Like, you know what favorite fruit? You know what my favorite fruit is? Just randomly. Like,
that's a Littleman thing. We
banana.
Yeah, we have this thing where anytime we're like supposed to take action, our cue is that we just scream fruits like banana, orange, banana. It's like our cue to kidnap somebody. But in this case,
oh, God.
I used it because we hadn't used it in a while. I was like, we're gonna use this as a cue to shoot.
I was gonna say I haven't heard that before. That's awesome.
Thank you for
Yeah, we
telling
actually,
me. Now I know what to listen for.
You'll know the little ones like you.
Meta.
You'll know the little ones like you if in character they tell you that to get out of a kidnapping, all you have to do is shout the names of fruits. If you're being kidnapped by the little ones, just scream banana, banana, orange, banana. Like just start screaming fruits, and you're good to go. We'll let you off.
Huh.
Yeah.
What if there's a standoff and say someone screams banana, you don't know who it is, but standoffs, shots start going off? Because if I need it, anyway.
What are you getting at? What are you implying?
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Voladin.
Mhm.
How'd you find out about Nopixel?
How? Oh, my Nopixel origin story. All right, this one's a little. Well, I mean, everyone's probably slightly odd or whatever. I was watching.
Weirdly, just you.
Unrelated. Yeah, I was watching a completely unrelated streamer. He was. I was playing a game called. What's it fucking called? What's it fucking called? I have it on Steam here. The Throne of Lies. It's like the text-based one where it's like a game of Mafia or Werewolf or whatever sort of thing.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's Throne of Lies. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Throne of Lies.
Oh, I love those type of games.
If you guys find the Throne of Thighs, you let me know.
It was Throne of Lies, yeah. So I was watching a streamer who did Throne of Lies, and Ray308 Win was also watching the streamer.
Who is that? That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I don't know what his current cop is. But he used to play Winchester. I don't know what his current, but I'm pretty sure he's playing a cop again. I don't know what his cop's name right now is though. Anyway, it was just after the first boom, I guess. He was kind of talking in the chat about how they had this RP server and they had all these people come and check it out, and I didn't immediately go right away. But then a week or two passed or something, and for whatever reason, I was looking for someone to watch, and Summit was RPing at the time, or maybe it was Moon. I can't remember if it was Moon, one or the other. And I just kind of started watching it, and eventually I found my way very quickly somehow to, oh shit, what's that guy's name? 41. I found 41 very quickly, and then he very quickly ran into Mel and Eugene in the Gnomes.
The gnomes, dude. I'm not a gnome. I'm not a goblin. I'm a gnome.
I very, very, very quickly switched over to be a Vader watcher for a very, very long time. I love 2.0 Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what got me. Like that was the lead up to, and then watching Vader on Eugene got me into Nopixel hook, line, and sinker.
Dude, he was a big gateway for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that character is just so fucking good, and and then Tu Long, I know why he can't play him, but reality, I think my favorite moments, aside from the first 24 hours of what was his fucking name, Kyle's Yes Man character, aside from the first 24 hours of that character,
the assassin guy, like, yeah, okay,
yeah, Brett Biggledoinks,
that's what it was,
but
yeah.
He didn't start as an assassin; he was just a yes man, and watching the first 24 hours as people found out what he was,
that he would just say yes to anything.
Exactly, right? Like watching people realize that was phenomenal, right? But outside of that kind of 24 hours or 48 or however long it was, because I remember watching a bunch then and loving it. Tu Long Ru Kim is my favorite character to watch ever from Nopixel. That was phenomenal. I understand why Vader doesn't play him anymore, and I get it.
Did you get that, Trumps?
But yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. I couldn't get it in time. My man.
Dude, it still blows my mind actually that Vader hangs out with us on the Littlemans, but I think it's because we kind of have very similar values, shitlord values, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like where he's fine with doing like the Changang stuff, right? But when it comes down to it, he's at heart a massive shitlord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
in all the best ways.
Yeah.
I almost sometimes I wish imagine a world where Vader never joined a big gang and just always kept that old school, hyper troll criminal dude.
Prune Gang. Yeah.
Prune Gang, yeah, man. Oh, so good.
If you would ask me 4 years, however many years ago it was during 3.0 when he was first popping off and Prune Gang was the thing and all that. If you would ask me that in however many years you'd be robbing a bank with him, and he would consider your character to be part of Prune Gang, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Right.
which is really funny because the Littlemans are like a young group of guys who are considered as members of Prune Gang.
That's so funny.
I love it. I love it.
It's just
I think
I still
it
fangirl.
show you though how much everyone likes the Littleman though, right? Like I mean, if it's not obvious yet.
Dude,
like,
Littlemans
I
are
still
so
fangirl
good. They're
over
so
that
good for
shit.
the server.
I don't know if you know this, Trobs, but like, well, you know, because you're on COP, you know how much like judges get notifications for shit. Okay, if there's a notification that goes off for anything to do with the Littleman, like it's a race to get there first. Okay. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Well, I mean, we were supposed to have a big court case with Nathan a while back, and
Right. Yeah.
and
I
then
remember that.
he couldn't make it because he was sleeping. He'd done the Diamond Dogs court case the entire night.
Mhm.
Didn't
I
make
remember
it,
that
and
day.
then I think it was
It's Grayson.
who's the courthouse named after? Because he was the one who
it was
found us,
Airborne
Grayson.
Labar showed up. Because I was watching you at the time because I had a feeling the case wasn't going to happen. Labar showed up. You guys talked to Labar. He's like, I'll put in a call. He basically got Grayson to show up at like a moment's notice to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if Labar calls you and says, get in the city, you're like, oh, okay.
Well, okay, but here's the thing though, right? Grayson or Aristotle didn't need the prompt from Airborne to do it. All he needed to hear was there's a court case for the Littlemen and we need someone to fill in, and I guarantee you that's all he needed.
Yeah, Grayson's tight. Love that guy.
He's great. He's great,
Yeah.
son.
He's literally half the reason that I ran on Tidus again as judge. Honestly, I want to keep him around in the DOJ. I wanted him to not seem as burnt out every time.
Dude,
I
the
saw him.
guy's just working himself to death.
Exactly. I mean, he's got his personal stuff going on right now, so that's aside the fact. Who knows what happens or whatever, right? But like in terms of, especially during my time zone when I want to play the game, he was the DOJ. He is the DOJ, so I wanted to help him out, right?
Yeah, he I really appreciate whenever John was running for judge and then subsequently trying to get his bar license. He like challenged me in role play, but then sort of like helped me. He like did the thing where like you challenge somebody in character, but you make it possible for them to do the thing while making it seem like your character doesn't want that.
Yeah.
And it was very obvious, right? It was obvious that he as a person was like, yeah, let's do the role play. But him as a character was like, not a fucking chance.
Yeah. I think that's the balancing act that a lot of judges have to sometimes try to find, because in a lot of ways you do have to be that, and that's gonna be tough for me. I'm gonna straight up admit that. I've always said in the past, like there's definitely parts of Tidus that are 100% self-insert, and it's just like his nice demeanor. That's who I am. It's hard for me to sometimes, and it's easy to fall into the trope as a judge and as someone in a public service thing to do that, right? I just fall into, I don't know if I remember that, if I mentioned that was where my career was. So it was like project management, engineering, whatever, but also public service, right? So like it comes really naturally to me, and sometimes I'm starting recently on Tidus just to be like, no, I got to be more of an asshole. I got to do more of that thing, right? But traditionally in our server, that's kind of what the judges have been, is that very aggressive, very kind of asshole-ish kind of a character. And I think it's for exactly kind of to enable exactly what you said there too, right? Is like this character has to be, especially when you have like, look at Hydra's background, right? They have to be naturally skeptical of Hydra coming in and performing, right? He's just had this face-off situation going on where he got, removed from police, right? So I think he just had to do it for the RP in reality. But honestly, everyone there, I obviously I know everyone in the DOJ quite well. They're all fantastic RPers. They're all just there for RP. If someone comes and engages the DOJ with RP, we are going to back that up 1,000%, right?
Yeah, man, it's you guys do a big balancing act. Can we talk a little bit about why you were removed previously as judge, and sort of how you've been playing your judge this time around with that previous knowledge of what happened?
Yeah,
Ooh,
sure.
hot
Probably
topics.
Spicy. I mean, I
Spicy
won't go
topics.
too much just because in reality, there's not a whole lot to go into.
Sure. It's not like a huge deal, but it is something that happened, right?
It was a big deal to me. In reality, I felt very personally,
Sorry, by it's not a huge deal. What I meant is like something egregious didn't happen. Like there wasn't like big drama around it. It like just happened. And of course it's a big deal to you. But what I was trying to imply was like there wasn't like a big like secret drama about it.
Well, I honestly I don't know, right? That's the thing. So long story short, it was the Wayne Biggs case. At the time, it was like the biggest drug trafficking case that had come onto the server. They were gonna pull the business license. This was legitimately, not only was this Tidus's first, like, well, sorry, I don't know if it was actually our first docket case, but it was our first major case for sure. And the anticipation at the time was that Tidus would do the case with another senior present to oversee it. That was why we took it in the first place. La-di-da-di-da. Long story short, it comes to the day of the trial. I had previously, like right before it started, I double checked the definition of how we, or not the definition, but how we wanted to enforce this law in our deliberations. I got the clarity from the head judge at the time. I didn't really have anyone kind of come to support me during the trial, but I still kind of pushed through it the best we could. We get to the end to deliver the verdict. The case happened. I deliver the verdict with the best that I could with the knowledge that I had in terms of what was presented in the courtroom, because it was honestly, to tell you the honest truth, Murphy kind of crushed that case. He made the prosecution look pretty bad in it, in reality, as Murphy kind of does.
Murphy Braun
is
is
really good at
incredible
that.
lawyer,
yeah. Second of all, and then kind of weighing in as well on like the evidence that was brought to me and how I was told we were interpreting the verdict, I found him not guilty. This was obviously not pleasing to the officers. I think pretty quickly I had about 30 or so of them surrounding me in the courtroom, grilling me on my decision. And probably looking back on it, like I'm one of those people who, like, I'm open to feedback. I'm open to that whole QA process. That goes back to my background, right? Like I understand that at the end of a project, you have a safety meet, or not a safety meeting, but like a meeting to say, okay, what went wrong, what didn't go wrong, right? So I'm down for it. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm down to sit here and critique myself and improve and that sort of thing, right? So I didn't really put a stop to it, and then that kind of ballooned into the Senate case. I don't know what happened with the Senate. That's a mystery to me. I have no idea. I was never talked to. They never talked to me. It was never even mentioned. Like there was never like a meeting, whether in or out of character, about what happened. And then I kind of took a weekend off. I remember it was the new league for Path of Exile. I took the weekend off.
Nice. A little Poe action.
I was playing that, and then in the middle of that, I get an email from. So then it's also right at the election time, right? It's time for me to be reelected as a judge, and so I'm running again, and then I get the ballots go out, my name's on it, and then I get an email from someone else, I guess, whatever. I get an email from someone just basically saying, in character email saying, hey, I can't vote for you anymore. What's up? And so I just kind of start asking around. It turns out that, I was removed from the ballot. That was my punishment. And I was never talked to about anything, whether in or out of character. And it was kind of a big, slap in the face, a big kick in the pants. I'm out here trying to help, especially because at the time we're this new set of judges, there wasn't really a whole lot of, this time around, I feel like 1,000% more support than that time around. Like that time was very confusing. It was very, it was kind of this mixture of like, don't run before you can crawl, but also make decisions and stand behind them. And if and so it was really confusing. The head judge at the time was a little probably overworked to have the time to manage everything. But yeah, that's kind of what happened. Generally, I don't want to go into too much more. I know this is kind of a shorter thing. But yeah, that's what happened. How it affects it now is I'm just super cautious on Tidus. I'm just double checking everything, even things where I'm just like, yeah, this seems like a very obvious situation. Wait, let's stop. Let's think about it. Let's talk it through. That sort of thing. If anyone ever tunes in, you probably see me just talking my verdicts out when I'm in the chambers or whatever.
I love that. I always pop over. You'll see John sitting on the sidelines, and I just like to hear your thought process.
I hope it's enlightening for people. It's one of those things where it's like I just don't want to. I don't want to fuck it up again, and I don't even know why I fucked it up before. So like at the same, so you're kind of in this whole guessing game of like, well, I guess I'll just try to take my time and show my work and hope they don't, like, because again, I come back to my background, right? If I'm so I was, on the government side of things. So like if I'm giving someone, a notice of, whatever, hey, this contractor's fucking up, they're not meeting spec on our job. We write that down. We tell them, hey, you're out of fucking spec, get in spec in this amount of time, or shit's gonna happen, right? In this instance, I have no idea what went on. So I guess that's kind of how I'm playing them. I will say though, this time around, I'm feeling way more supported. I'm feeling way more comfortable, and I'm honestly just having a blast once again. Lawyer was getting a bit of a grind to me, and
You've been
Judge
doing
has
it
been
for a long
fantastic.
freaking time too.
Yeah, that's well.
Yeah, I was worried
yeah.
you were going to go the way of Anna Swallows, Evil Shatner, and just go start Wild West RPing.
I mean, I was okay. So, well, when that happened, I was very close to like just saying fuck it, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, I just enjoy RP so much. You get so used to it, and like the community, you have these friends that you socialize with, even if it's in RP, or you have the outside where you're just like, okay, shit, like you have the out of character stuff, like what's happening with like Grayson right now, or Josta a little while ago, and these are
Mhm.
people that you spend so much time with, like you say, they're colleagues, right? So it's not so easy just to kind of walk away from that, in my opinion, anyway.
True. Yeah, it's a
But
lot.
yeah, so I don't know, and it definitely shapes how I RP on Tidus though. Like I don't want to, like, okay, honestly, even with the Littleman, the other day, I was a little worried that I kind of overstepped a little bit. It's just in terms of the second time I let you guys kidnap me. Like I put out a 911, right? Like was it you or Miles that called me? It was you. It was you.
It was me.
Him, yeah.
Well, you have my phone number saved.
Yeah. Because then you were like Tim Mack or whatever. But you know what? Okay, I have you and Miles. I know you're Tim. I know Miles is Jim. But then I end up mixing them up in character. Like I know for some reason I always want Tim to be wearing the green shirt. I don't know why, but I always want him to be wearing the green shirt. And then I call Jim Tim, and I mess anyway.
That's great.
But anyway, so you called me, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting kidnapped, and I could do the thing where I go and hide in judges' chambers and I lock it, or I pull my gun or something. But I was like, come on, like, where's the fun in that, right? So I put out a 911. I hid behind the column. It actually was kind of surprising to me that I put out the 911, and then it still took a couple minutes for you guys to show up and then find me in the room and with your shotguns and kidnap me. And there was still no response, but was fine. It's whatever. I mean, it led to a great situation, right? But no, I kind of worried that I a little bit overstepped myself there, not really letting myself get kidnapped, but enabling the RP of what we had kind of already had happen. I wasn't a willing hostage by any means, right? I had my gun ready. I
think we're good.
I was ready to defend myself until the shotgun came at me. When the shotgun came at me, I was like, no, I'm not gonna. Right?
You're like,
I'll put my gun away. But yeah, I mean, and then again, I don't know if people know this, but if Tidus goes down, we're rolling dice, and we're probably gonna start in the ICU no matter what anyway. So, so that's kind of what happened there. But yeah.
How did you go down in that gun store? I could have swore you was
Got shot in the back by Banana Duck.
One of them, in the middle of it, one of them gave me an order to like get up and move or something like that, and then I pretty much stood up and immediately went down. I don't know exactly. It was probably the shotgun. I heard a big boom and then I went down. So it was probably
Banana
the
Duck. I watched him shoot you in the back.
Who was Banana Duck on cop or on a Littleman?
It was a
Littleman.
Yeah,
that's great.
Billy Duck, right? No,
it was Billy Littleman.
Billy Littleman.
I didn't recognize him at first, and then I was like, oh, hold on, I know
instantly.
this voice. Yeah, I was sure I knew who it was, but
I didn't recognize him because of his voice. I recognized him because of the words he uses.
True.
Hey, Carmine. Instantly knew.
Hey,
You just know
Carmine.
by how people say Carmine's name. I love it.
Have any of you guys considered dabbling in Red Dead?
Yeah, I've actually been wanting to jump back on Wild RP and play my my other character. It's my like woodsman who only ever uses a bow and like has a ton of savings, but like doesn't know what to do with the money and just like lives this like simple life and just waiting for like an interesting story to happen.
That could be Wild RP's going through a I don't know, like a winter storm or some shit, and I've seen trailers and it looks pretty cool. And they got this new gun animation where you do gun tricks and shit.
Oh, I've seen that. That does look sick.
I saw one clip of somebody doing like the execution where you bap them with their gun and then you fucking shoot them in the face.
Oh yeah.
That's so sick, dude. I like it because it looks very cool and cinematic, but it's kind of OP. It's kind of
The
like
shotgun one's disgusting. When you do that animation with a shotgun, it's basically after it's done, the person you did it to is missing a head. Like,
if that were a
completely
different
gone.
server that we played on, we'd definitely be reported. He blew my head off. He clearly was
Force
trying to force
perma.
perma me.
Oh my
He blew my head off.
I can see Troms and Miles playing around all this stuff. Like sometimes if you get your head blown off and you get revived without a head. And you're just running around.
That'd be so good.
I could see them fucking around with that type of shit. It would be funny. And there's
Oh yeah.
there was one, I think it was, I don't know if it was Wild West RP. It probably was, but an admin was running around the server on a horse that was a skeleton and he was headless. And he'd only be seen briefly, so rumors would start. And he'd never interact with anybody. So people would be going around saying they saw a headless horseman, but there would be no way to prove it. Everyone just thought it was an urban legend. It was pretty cool. And I don't think he ever got caught on stream. I saw him once only. One time.
Whoa.
It's fun.
You saw the Headless Horseman?
Yes.
And
I
lived to
did.
tell the tale?
Yes, I did.
That's so
great.
cool.
Yeah, I'd like to play more. I just want to. I'm just selfish, and I just want to play with friends. I just want to get on and schedule time to play with friends on Wild RP. Is that so much to ask?
I'm
the
gonna be
RP
frank.
purist in me has issues.
I'll be honest. Getting started on a new server is always easier when you're doing it with someone you already know. Doing it on your own it's fun in its own way, but it's I feel like the stakes are higher because nobody knows you, and you play a crim and nobody knows you. No one's gonna trust you. People are gonna think you're gonna The way I play my characters, I just ooze malice, man.
You do.
Like,
you really do.
I stand next to people and they expect the worst. I swear, it's crazy.
Yeah, your character, you've always had, what was that one like war guy you used to play? He was like a big guy with a big coat and he had that really deep voice and you always play like the deep chanting music. This is on Wild West RP.
Kublai Khan.
Kublai Khan. Yeah, that guy was menacing, dude. That guy was, it would be like an actual movie scene. He'd walk into like the pub and everybody would stop to see what he was doing.
Nice.
Yeah, I was using a clownfish as a voice changer. And those type of characters, they work out the best when there's people who play like scary characters, but they lose that scary factor because they're in town all the time and they're socializing with people. Like those type of characters, you walk into a town, you maybe say one brief thing, make an idle threat, and then you leave town and then you watch from outside. It's hard to roleplay scary characters.
Yeah. Especially if you want to see the result of your roleplay.
Yeah. Playing a spooky character is usually best from the other person's point of view.
Right.
So Tidus, since the last time you got dethroned as judge, and this time
Just putting salt in the wound, man.
That's fine. At this point, it's numb. It's so numb at this point.
And it's important. It's important because
right?
it might have weight in how you roleplay moving forward, right?
Sure, absolutely.
So
I would say it affects all the roleplay I do. In all honesty,
I was kind of not concerned, but I was just curious to see how you would behave moving forward. I thought, oh, is he just going to be like super straightforward, low personality, like just judge, like still himself, obviously, but just like none of the shenanigans that I know he wants to do. And then there was the Alex Bones court case, and where everybody was wearing lizard masks, and you came out from your ruling wearing a lizard. I was like, nope, good old Schwinghammer, we're good to go.
Well, okay, I will say that's the limit, though. That court case was the like. I don't want it to go any further than that. Like, don't get me wrong. The most important thing for anyone, well, I mean, in RP in general is read the room, but the DOJ is so much read the room, right? And like that can even change within, like, especially like a bench trial, say with like Carmine there, right? Or the Littleman, that can change within moments, right? Is when it has to be serious and when it's going to an SBS moment, and then you got to rein it back into serious again, right? And so you have to be able to do that. And I think that's where, like, so for example, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about Wildflower, that the Samantha Sanders, the new lawyer we have there.
She's
like
crazy
she's
good.
done a fantastic job of very quickly adjusting to how quickly you have to move on DOJ, right? And be both very serious as well as being very silly to accommodate your clients, right?
She's so good.
Yeah.
Like so good.
I know, right?
Dude, it sucks going up against her in court. Let me tell you that. It fucking sucks. Going up against her in court, not because she's great and she's a great role player, but she's such a good lawyer. Dude, it's like she says like a string of words, and I'm like, okay, let me break down.
Now try being the judge who's supposed to RP being a judge who doesn't really understand what she's always objecting, right? You're just like, okay.
The modus of what? Paranda, we're not dismissing the court case. It's not.
Just give me a moment here to consult my pocket Google over here with whatever the fuck this is. No, I mean, like I did like contract shit. That's why, like, that's another one of the reasons that Tidus does paperwork stuff, because with my background was contract shit. In terms of like actual like courtroom and all the objections and shit, I just rely on my experience from my time on the server. That's all, right? So, but anyway, kind of going back to what you were saying though, and the other really important thing was as well, like this time around, like legitimately, as soon as we got Judge, Crane had a meeting with all of us and just kind of laid out what the expectations were. And it was very clear in there. It was like, yes, it's go be serious, go do your thing, but also, take time to, like, so for example, there's a lot of time on Tidus. Now, you've seen it, Hydra. We're just like, I'll just be like, yeah, I'll do your license plate if you meet me at Shrugway or up in the oil field or something, because I'm out and about and I have no issue helping you out, but I'm not going to be like tied as an anchor to City Hall, right?
I love that. That's what if I'd made Judge, that's exactly what I would have done, is been out and about and doing that. So seeing that somebody's doing that made me really happy.
Well, so that's a big change in culture, right? So when I'm seeing drastic shifts in the culture of what the expectations and acceptance are, right? So in the first time around, that would not have been acceptable. You were at City Hall because that's where people came to get this stuff done. I can't remember if it was you, Troms, or someone else who wanted to like rename their boats. So I actually was able to get approval to go to the dock to get the boats renamed or some shit like that, right? But like that's the example of like what the expectation was, right? And so now just to have the freedom that you're not tied to it, it feels like I can actually be a person in our empty city. I mean, I'm still shocked by, like, I drive around our city and it feels just as empty as when there was 75.
Dude,
emptier
that's so true.
when there was 75 people. I don't know why. I don't know.
It's a compound.
Somebody asked me the other day while I was streaming. They're like, "Can you see who's on in the player list? How many people? The city feels dead. Is there like 50 people? It was 250 people on. It was like the server was like max capacity.
Yeah,
we hadn't seen anybody in 5 minutes."
Yeah, there's sometimes when and it's less an issue for me now that I'm Judge, and it's one of the reasons I'm enjoying it so much more and just enjoying RPing so much more. But as a lawyer and as someone who like always had to be available for a call at any moment, because lawyer queue, that's the expectation, right? If a cell rep goes, that's what you're there for. That's what you're doing. I didn't always know where to go for like 20 minutes of just chill civilian RP. Before I could have went to like the marketplace and I would have found that. Or like in a previous generation, you just, I don't know, just go watch Lot Q for a minute and you get your, your interactions, your RP. And I don't know where to go for that in our server right now, and that's one of the reasons that as a judge, I'm enjoying it more because I'm just busier and I don't have to go find that because I don't know where to look.
Yeah.
It's probably different if you're like you know, I know the criminals have, you know, their various things. I know the cops are getting constant pings, so I think it's just a civilian issue. But I don't know. Maybe I just got to be better at RP too. I don't know. One or the
52.
other, right?
You said it was the compounds.
It's compounds and groups. You know, people like I wouldn't be amazed if there's someone who like a burger shop person who's never gone to Little Seoul, or a Little Seoul person that's never gone to vice versa. Like, no, there's people are comfortable in like small vicinities and they stay there around the same people day in day out, unless you're doing crim jobs or they're getting the occasional meal, and even then sometimes you just get meals from specific places. uh, I haven't played a civilian in a long time. It's been 8 months. But when I do get suspended or I do hop off duty, usually I'll only ever do that if I have something in mind. If I don't have anything in mind of what I'm gonna do, I don't. I close out the stream, or I try not to go off duty. But
Yeah.
playing a civilian, you feel like an aimless wraith, just hoping to run into something, and it's draining. And,
It's like you look forward to getting kidnapped just
Just
because it's
so someone will talk to
something,
you.
it's anything. Please.
No, like I know 100%. Honestly, like what happened with the Littleman the other day was great. Like I fucking love that shit. You know, like as a civilian, as a judge, as a lawyer who never usually gets kidnapped, I'll take that any day, right? Like I love that. But it just half the time it never happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said compounds, but now that I've thought about it, I don't know if it's compounds. I feel like it comes down to people not going outside their comfort zone and trying to push role play and long-lasting role play that lasts long enough for people to hop on every day and have purpose, that they're pushing something forward. Because right now, I feel like everyone's just, well, most people, especially me, I'm going to be frank. I hop on to do the bare minimum, and then I'll hop off.
God damn it.
And that's not just me. I feel like it's a lot of people on the server.
Do you think that's everyone waiting for hardcore?
Yeah, I feel like it was
I don't
the
think
same
that's
in
gonna change
2.0.
anything. I think it'll spice up a little bit, and I'll just go back.
Yeah, that's my concern as well, right? Is like I don't know if the expectation of the higher standard is gonna follow through. I hope it does.
You know what?
I just don't know if it will.
You know where the like the reason, in my opinion, 3.0 peaked, or like when things restart, why they peak? It's not because the server's getting wiped. It's not because people have to start from the beginning again. It's because there's new faces who come onto the server. Some of them have huge audiences, some of them don't. And then old faces who are like people who are like heavy roleplay pushers. And the balance of people who are pushing roleplay compared to the people who are lazy like myself is it's more in favor of the people who are pushing roleplay, who are hungry for it. And I feel like that's why like every time a wipe happens, it's usually not down to the server, it's down to people's mentality. And yeah, like 3.0, when 3.0 first came around, there was a lot of new people, a lot of new faces. There were old faces too. Old faces fell in with the same old crews they were with, but the new people were experimenting. They were joining these other already established groups. They were doing these other things, and it was like a breath of fresh air, right, for everybody. It didn't
A
feel
breath of
generic.
French hair.
Yeah, it didn't feel generic.
French hair.
Or French hair? Is that what I said?
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Hopefully, when the classic or hardcore drops, there's new faces and people go outside their comfort zone. And I feel like everything will be fun again then.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that people being able to do gangs of 6 has something to do with it? You're basically taking, you know, a percentage of the criminal population and getting them to make more or make fewer groups, essentially. Right? If two members of a gang, if two groups in a gang rather, make a group and it's 4, then that's a group of 4 and a group of 4. But if you raise it up to 6, now suddenly there's fewer people being divided amongst everybody, right? So I wonder if that has something to do with it, where you're getting like these larger groups going out and having, for like combat purposes, like balance, and that is better for them, but maybe technically worse for the server overall because there's fewer people just being excluded from like the bank job who then just go role play, right? That's usually what it is, right? You're part of the gang. They pick 4 people to go role play or to go do the thing, and then 4 other people just dick around in the city and do whatever they want. And we're getting, 2 less per group essentially that's formed out in the world. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the smaller groups are, the more likely it is for there to be more groups scattered around. The more likely it is for people to interact with people that are not inside their inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if smaller, I feel it was the same with I don't know, like when Nopixel was at 75 slots, like 2.0 or 3.0. What was it at 3.0? Like 120 or something?
That
I think
sounds
it
right.
started around there, yeah, then got up
Yeah,
to
and it
250.
felt like because there were hubs, but early 3.0 when there was 100 and something, it felt way more lively than it does now.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
because people going experimenting, interacting with loads of like everyone else, And that's what it comes down to. If the server had 1,000 people on it, and those 1,000 people had 100-man crews, all all in little compounds, it'll still feel empty. It's not gonna feel as empty because of the sheer number, but
Right.
it's still gonna have similar issues.
Well, right, 'cause it's just a larger number in the server, it's just more people that can hang out in that compound, right? So
Yeah, doing absolutely nothing apart from the same thing.
Do they
all the
actually
time.
hang out in their compounds that much?
I don't know, but
I don't know.
that's the only
I have no
thing I
idea.
can.
I'm completely ignorant. Yeah, I have no idea, honestly.
I mean,
Yeah, I'd love to see
250
like an admin view of like where the heat centers are, of where people are. I think that'd be really interesting. Like a heat map. I think it'd be really
Yeah.
interesting.
Harmony gets a lot of traffic when it comes to like criminal shit. Like Harmony Route 68, a lot of people who want it, they always fucking go there. And I see the ping pop up and I'm like, don't want to drive all the way up there and then they're gone. One day I'm just gonna focus on that one road.
You're gonna patrol Road 68.
Yeah, give it a cool name or something. 68 patrol. I don't know. It could be funny. It could be fun.
I like that 68 patrol.
52 on 68.
I know I'm probably gonna get shot by fucking Psychota.
Mhm.
Oh, almost
It'll
certainly.
be fun.
Repeatedly. And read.
I've never been shot by Reed. I've been
Really?
shot by Psychota once, only once.
The first time I ever met Reed Dankleaf, he had an AK on his back in the casino, and I was still a non-solo cadet. And I like just started chat. I called 911, and then I just went and chatted with them, and I was just like, "Yep, I'm just keeping him here distracted. Just you guys get here whenever." And they're like, "Oh, he's wanted as hell." Like, all right, we're coming. And then a bunch of cops were like, "Let's go, Hydra!" And then I made solo cadet that day.
Hey, there you go.
That was great. That was good times. Yeah, I've been thinking about if I want to. I'm trying to figure out how to approach applying for cop again. I know Troms will probably just say, "Just do it, dummy."
Yeah, just do it, you stupid idiot.
You stupid, sexy idiot. No, it's canon. You said it. Everybody heard it. But I kind of want to do lawyer stuff a little bit and see if anyone reaches out to me first. And I also, because like I definitely want to be back. This is not a jab at being a lawyer. This is not a jab at the DOJ.
No, I get it.
I am so fucking bored. I am so bored on John Hydra not being a cop. But because of that,
Especially going from cop.
go ahead. What's up? No.
Well, I was gonna say, especially going from cop. I mean, I've said it myself. Like that's one of the reasons I'm so much more enjoying being a cop is I'm just busier. Or sorry, a judge. I'm just busier. There's more stuff going on. There's more things for me to be involved in. I have more. There's just more stuff.
Yeah.
Especially too because again, like I guess I think it's different being a lawyer. It's drastically different being a lawyer needing to use the lawyer queue and being a lawyer with prio, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're using the lawyer queue, you are in the DOJ app. You have to be available at a moment's notice for anything, right? And it really,
Yeah, I used to hang out. I used to hang out with Jim Hayes a lot,
yeah,
and that was something we talked about. He's like, I can come hang out with you, but if I get a call, I have to go immediately.
exactly. And it can really restrict some of the long-term RP prospects that are out there, right? If you don't have, hours and hours to pour into your character in the downtime, right?
Yeah.
But then again, some of that is also you could view that on the other side of it, right? And just say, well, that's just time to, do kind of more lighter RP, I guess, right? And just make the most of that situation. But I think there's only so much that kind of, I don't know. And again, maybe this is just me again, but a lot of the time when you want to get like your little things in, it ends up getting, it doesn't really get anywhere for you because you're just a little person, right? So Tidus had tried to get the lottery going at one point in time, and we didn't really get a whole lot of help because it's Tidus trying to. Yeah, we had Eugene on board, but we didn't really get any help along the way, right?
Yeah.
We obviously in the end we didn't keep it going long enough. Obviously, there's the whole if you keep it going, then you'll start getting it. Sure, fair, whatever. That's fine. But it was very difficult to there was a lot of paperwork, and even though we tried to have it legit, everyone just thought we were all a bunch of crooks anyway. So it's whatever, right? But I again it's sort of just more like specifically as a lawyer, like the there's not a whole lot of things to fall back on other than what you can make for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, John Hydra is not just a cowboy lawyer. He's also a dedicated fireman, taxi driver, PD tow manager, and San Andreas State tow operator and right-of-way driving school instructor.
Yeah. So you probably have a few different things to do.
And yet, despite all of those things, I am still so bored. So bored.
But then, okay, but here's the other side of it, though. Lawyering it always ends up being feast or famine, right? Wait until you get a big call, and you're like, okay, cool, I just got a big call. Yes, let's go. And then another big call will come in, and then another one comes in, and you're just like, where the fuck was this when I was bored so fucking many hours ago? Where were all of these fucking calls? Like, I can't handle them. It always goes that way.
It's the same with Cobb.
True. You're just driving around and suddenly there's 13 alphas all on different points on the map. Oh, John got into a treasure hunt recently, and that was occupying a lot of my time. I got real excited about that. These skulls with diamonds for eyes.
Is that not a base game thing?
Cool.
I've never seen those before.
This morning.
Oh.
There's one on Mount Chiliad, but you probably already knew that, right?
Yeah, I found the one on Chiliad, and I found the one at the courthouse. And then I was searching. I drew a little map. I made a map, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's a pentacle, so the other one might be here. There's not one at the dam that I found. Next, we're gonna go check some other places to see if we can find one. It seems like they're in publicly accessible areas that are people typically don't look at. So I'm gonna go check out a lot of places like that. You know that thing you drive up by on the highway that has the 3 gas tanks that that has the pipes going up the mountain? I'm gonna go check there. There's places you see there's not interactable with, but just for John, it's just an exciting little thing, right? But yeah, I think before I actually apply for COP again, I think one goal I'd like to accomplish, I'd like to do a couple of docketed court cases.
Yeah. Well, they are different, right? They certainly are.
I really you've seen the way that I like to do court. I like a lot of pomp, and I like a lot of sort of going over the really hammering home important details. I don't just repeat things pointlessly. I hammer home important details. But in a bench trial, that's less important, right?
Yeah, and then a lot of time in the docketed case, what you're going to be told is basically, that's cool, use that in your close, right? Yeah. But in a bench trial, we don't always give you the close, right?
Yeah. Yep. I really like openings and closings. I like I practice them like when I'm at work and I'm bored and I'm like, Your Honor and people of the court, I will prove today beyond a shadow of a doubt my client is innocent. You know, just kind of go over a whole bunch of stuff like that. It's so fun. I think about it all the time.
Yeah, that's what I do at the beginning of every case as a cop.
Yeah.
I love it.
Honestly, Moosebeard is one of my favorite for asking like the intentionally loaded question at in the cross exam, like so why is it that you stole that car and drove down the road recklessly and tried to kill someone?
And I'm waiting for the lawyer to say anything, right? It's just checking to make sure they're still there.
Objection leading.
But no, yeah, those are great. I will say though, I always do like to give the option, and I don't know if anyone here caught it, but I had a bench trial a couple days ago now with I think it was Byrne on his Karen character, and then Hayes, what's it, Zakiel, I think, Mackenzie Hayes,
Zaquale,
the character, yeah.
Zakel, yeah.
She did
Zaquale.
like the most amazing like off the cuff close for that one. It was fantastic. It was just attacking the whole like Karen character and like demanding that people give her special treatment because of her sex and all that. And like it was just amazing. And I was like, I'm so glad I asked if anyone wanted to do a close. She was just fantastic. So.
I think closes are so good. I think they're a great way to tie off a bench. They're a great way to give somebody kind of a final say. I really like. If I was a judge, I'd always have people do closings.
Well, some people don't want to do it, right? So as
a judge wouldn't care.
Trial, yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. As a bench trial, I like to give the option if someone feels strongly one way. Because the other thing too, like and this is partly what I've kind of picked up over the time as being a lawyer, right? At any given time, you're walking into a potentially volatile situation between two sets of RP, two drastically different things that may have been happening for hours before you're even involved into it, right? So to me, I'm always just trying to be very like adaptable to what I sense happening in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just like, okay, in this instance here, it really feels like the cops are really sick of this guy. He just took us to bench trial to piss everyone off, to waste more time. They're at their limit. I'm not going to push them to do a close, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
go for it.
No, what?
I was gonna say, like, because there was, and I find it less as a judge in bench trials, but more of when I was a lawyer in cell reps. There are some times when the best thing feels to be like, okay, let's just calm everyone down, get this man processed as a not guilty and sent up and on our way, and that's the best thing I can do right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's super smart. Like, let's fix this before it becomes a thing, basically.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to handle it.
Like you're kind of playing almost just the mediator sort of thing, right?
Can I ask what the general say about Hydra as a lawyer has been? Because I've pretty much been just doing normal like lawyer shit, right? But yeah, I just want like, what's your opinion as like someone who's kind of been buddies with Hydra as a cop and then as a lawyer, like what are your like thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think that Hydra's kind of addressed the biggest issue Tidus would have had, which would have been like, as a cop, you were a little bit more on the silly side, and not that you can't be silly as a lawyer. Like, I mean, I have this whole fucking Werechicken thing going on with Tidus, right? So, like, I mean, that's definitely room for silliness, right? But it's just a matter of just the right moments, right? And I think Hydra's doing just fine with that. That would have been my only major concern in character. If someone is capable of doing the cop work and, you know, going through the ranks and all that stuff, you know, I'm sure they're more than capable of doing the lawyer work, right? So, yeah, just a matter of the right moments to have those moments, you know, like you know, as well as I do. If okay, so like for example, and I mean. Did you guys see the that terrorism case with there was the BBMC, but then there was also Mr. Ratchet in there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Heard about it, but I didn't see it.
But it ended up turning into like a little bit of like an SBS drinking case, but it was also for terrorism. And so like I don't know. Those are the kind of moments where I'm just like, and again, as long as everyone involved in the RP is down for the RP, like that's another side of it too, right?
Mhm.
But I don't know. Those are sometimes to me the lines you got to kind of start thinking about, you know?
Sure.
I mean, it's still for terrorism in the end. Like, yeah, everyone wants to. We're doing this for entertainment. You know, we're doing the streaming thing. We're doing it to have fun for ourselves. But at the end of the day, as a judge and as a member of the DOJ, you have a lot of other people's RP that you're kind of affecting, and you have to be aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I make sure when I'm a lawyer that I have like a little mental checklist that I do. And my checklist goes like, okay, like let's have fun, right? That's like number one is like let's have fun.
Yeah.
And then it's let's make sure that we remember in character that our job is to make sure that this person that's calling us, this person that's like calling us for like legal help, it gets what they want out of this. And then the question is like, okay, like what? Then you ask, like, what do you want? Do you want more time? Do you want to make sure that these guys are like?
That's
so like that's a question John asks people. He's like, what do you want me to do? Do you
normally how Tidus led his ask as well? First, as soon as I get there, what are you looking for here?
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, now that I know what his goals are, I already know what the cops' goals are. The cops' goals are to prosecute this guy and go to the next thing, right? They don't want to be here forever. They want to, get this done with. But then it goes, okay, it circles back to number one. It's like, can I make this fun for everybody? And then we're comrades. Like the cops and John Hydra are buddies still. We have really great rapport. I've actually gotten like really good respect as a lawyer in the cells as John Hydra. And I've typically gotten cops to like work with John in a way that they probably wouldn't with, say, Tidus, for example. Because I was with Hayes and Mad Wayne Thunder, and I was like, hey, this guy's willing to plead guilty, but can we drop like these 2 misdemeanor charges? He knows that they're not that much time or fines, but it'll make him feel like he's being heard. And then you guys can get him sent up for the majority of the time, and we'll call it 20 minutes since I got here. How's that sound? And they go, yep, that sounds great. And then I'll go over and I'll go, hey, we did it. I had to twist their arm a little bit. I had to... And sometimes with cops, if like somebody's like really being obstinate, like a crim, and they're just like not hearing me, I'll go, you want to go fucking scream at him real quick? All right, I will. And I'll go over there and I'll go, hey, play along. And then we'll both do /argue 1, 2, or 3. And we'll go, it's his damn rights. It's how it's supposed to be done. We got to do it this way. And if you don't like it, we'll take it all the way to the top. And then they're like, well, I don't have time for all that. It's like, fine, we'll do this. Suddenly the other person, even if they know it's theater, if they're a good role player, they're like, okay, like this is good enough, right? This is my character is like feeling like somebody's like fighting for him. Like, okay, great. And then everybody wins. And it just feels really good. It just made me really happy the other day to just kind of like realize like, oh, like I have this bad habit where like I just feel like nobody likes me. I don't know why my brain is like this, but I just always worry that nobody likes me. And so when I'm not around them, I sort of default to like assuming the worst. But then when I'm around them again and they're just normal, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is so good. So that's when I actually get to go and do the thing and interact with the people. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This is fun. But when I'm avoiding it and like it becomes this like self-fulfilling prophecy of like pain. But yeah, being a lawyer is very fun. I really like it. It's not as fun and as exciting as being a cop is, but it does challenge you in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been worried about being a cop just because like I never want. So I see on
be an STSO cop.
Yeah, I see on Lawyer sometimes you walk in and it's just like the saltiest crim ever. It's the guy who's for whatever reason a little overinvested in whatever the situation is right now. He's feeling really cheated and hard done by, at least in character anyway, regardless of if it's over. You're not sure if it's overstepping into OOC or if it's in character or whatever. And just like you can just tell that he is just there to piss off the cops as much as possible because that's the only way he's going to get any satisfaction at the end of the day, right? How often does that happen as a cop? Because like that's what holds me back from even wanting to, like, okay, I'm not a huge fan of like drive, shoot. That's not really what I want to do when I'm on the server. But more often than not, I just don't want to deal with like that super salty criminal, right?
Maybe like every 10th person. Does that sound about right? Every 10th person is like super salty.
No.
I've only had it happen to me like I've arrested probably over 100 by now, but I've only had that happen to me like maybe 3 times.
Yeah, maybe I'm. Let me. You have something, Trumps?
Well, I was gonna say everybody likes Moosebeard.
Everybody likes Moosebeard. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody molds at him.
All right.
You think people would mold at me, but no, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Just roleplay check them.
As John Hydra, I would always like. I'm like just naturally like very compassionate, right? I like have a lot of compassion for people, and so even if John is like role playing like as kind of a brisk asshole, if somebody starts getting mad, he goes, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna." I learned the hard way to never say like I can tell you're upset because that really pisses people off, and I didn't mean to piss somebody off that way, so I just had somebody fucking go off on me. But I just go like, "Hey, I know you don't want to talk right now. Here are your charges. Here's what's going on. I'm gonna call the scene lead and get you out of here as soon as possible, okay?" They're like, "Whatever," and then move on. It's not that common, and I think if it's happening a lot, you might want to do some like self-reflection and see why it's happening that much.
Yeah, that's fair.
It'll happen every now and then. Yeah, maybe like
I miss John Doe.
Dude, people would get mad at him for not like responding to how mad they were. That's too funny. Yeah, R.I.P. John Doe.
Yeah.
He's dead.
He's a dead man. Yeah.
Dead and gone.
I saw somebody. I came in for the cell rep the other day, and like a real to killers, who in lore John Hydra doesn't know because he was kidnapped when she was hired. She's like, "Oh my God, John, you're alive," and he's like, "Listen, this is gonna sound rude, and I don't mean it to, but I have no idea who you are." She's like, "What?" That was really fun. Oh, that's good. Yeah, dude. Even when Nopixel isn't going exactly the way you want it to, dude, it's still so good and rewarding. It's almost like annoying how good it is at being fun.
I was gonna say, and I didn't mention this back when 52 mentioned it before, but just to kind of circle back to that, I think that's my favorite part of people, like new people coming into the server and trying really hard in RP, is those of us that have kind of got a little lazy and jaded over time. It's really easy to kind of like pick up on that RP and get kind of like remotivated or excited for it again, right?
Yeah.
And that to me is like that's where that new injection of RP is just like, holy shit, perfect. This is something I've been waiting for. Let's go. Yes, this is great. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean that's all. We've talked about this before on the podcast, so I don't want to go into it too much. But there's almost a thing that happens when you get prio where you stop trying as much. When you don't have prio and you're like trying to snipe the queue every day, when you finally do get in, you're like, I gotta role play my freaking heart out. I gotta get in here and role play as hard as I can to everybody that'll let me. And if I have 30 seconds with somebody, I need to show them that 30 seconds that like I'm fun and funny and I get it and I'm here and I'm with it. And I kind of I try to like remind myself every now and then to like still feel that, still feel that way. It's important to keep trying. Don't stop trying just because it's easy.
I this is like a scale of where, like, say when you don't have prio and you're trying to get prio, you're at the top of the scale, like doing a lot. And then say you do have prio and you've been playing on the server for a long time and you've been playing the same character for a long time and you've done a lot of things and you're not invested. I feel like both sides of the scale in the long run are really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like one, you just if you're in either side, you burn out. The best spot is not down the middle. It's closer to the excited side, but like 75% towards super hyper. If that makes sense.
It kind of lost me there at the end, but I get what you're saying.
That's the best way I can explain it. Okay?
I get you.
I can't pull out a diagram and fucking draw graphs and but 75% investment in whatever it is you're doing, so you don't. Anyway, moving on.
I got you.
No, you're totally right.
There. Yeah.
Another thing is make new characters, but I'm not gonna. I preach these things that I know I'm not gonna do.
Well, can we talk about new characters a little bit, or other characters? I've been playing my Pyro character more, and dude, that character is so fun.
It's a good character.
I'm gonna play it more. I think it might be my new main.
The mask?
I do, yeah. I wear the mask, yeah. I wear the mask, and I wear like a COVID mask under it, just because it muffles my voice a little more.
Are you trying to suffocate yourself?
Dude, I started laughing the other day, and I had to take it off because I was like, I'm gonna fucking pass out, and I was home alone. I was like, dude, I might fucking die.
Pass out wearing the mask, and that's it.
Could you imagine?
Stop laughing. Is that funny?
How did Hydra die? Well, he was role playing a fucking TF2 pyro and started having a laughing fit.
Dude, I can see the Dexerto article now. Nopixel roleplayer streamer dies.
It just shows my dead corpse with a fucking gas mask on. It's just this. It's literally just this. It's just
3 hours. 3 hours of Twitch stream until someone finds you.
My fucking girlfriend walks in and starts screaming.
And on your tombstone, last words are not going to be anywhere. It's just going to be the symbol of a kettle. Just last words.
It's a hyena and a kettle, yeah. Oh, perfect. Oh,
we're laughing. This is gonna be really sad when it actually happens.
Oh, I'll miss you guys.
Yeah, it was all right. It was okay.
But yeah, I ran into the king of self inserts himself.
Single Dan.
No.
There's no other.
Mr. Officer Moses. He's a cop.
Oh,
come on. He's playing a character of himself. He's a self-insert character.
That's the ultimate self-insert.
Fingal Dan is literally just the Chief 1114. There's no difference.
I'm pretty sure the Chief 114 isn't black.
Why are you looking? Why does that matter?
I'm just saying.
I'm disappointed that you even noticed his skin color.
Why don't you go play Harry Potter, buddy?
He was running around screaming, "Don't ruin this guy's arc. He's in the middle of an arc. And he was
Wait, what?
I'll be honest. You know what I do with Chief? Like, I'll -1, so he -1s, and then I'll gaslight him into thinking he started it. It works every time.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
That's funny.
That's very funny. No, but yeah, playing the TF2 Pyro. It's funny because I realize a lot of people on Nopixel are younger, and so they don't even know who TF2 Pyro is.
Oh my god.
But some people, yeah, we're old, by the way.
I was just talking to Kiwo last night about the orange box. We brought it up. So we're talking about Jenny's Steam account.
But yeah, so we'll
that's funny.
Some people see it and they'll be like, I'm in a pursuit with the TF2 Pyro. Oh, so somehow, without actually speaking, with only drawing like MS Paint on my notepad and then like giving people like texting them the picture of it, I convinced Pigeon and Kevin Ram to buy me a car and then upgrade the car to a better engine with turbo and a different muffler so I can use the exhaust to start fires because there's no lighters in the city.
Yeah.
Oh my god. A car, just a glorified lighter car.
Yeah, it's my light. I'm literally gonna get a license plate that says lighter.
God, that's funny. I love that kind of like RP enabling. Kevin Ram bought me a car too. I mean, he actually bought all the upgrades for it. But,
what else are you gonna do with all that money though, too?
He's
right?
got so much money. It was like he put like 50,000 into upgrades or something. So he wasn't out of pocket too much. Plus, it was on one of my other characters, and He recognized me. I got celebrity treatment from Kevin Ram.
That's great. Yeah,
He's one of, honestly. So I met that guy really, really early on.
Me too.
Fishing, and I kept telling him, I'm like, dude, I can tell you have the mindset to be like very, very rich. Like you are actually going to be one of the richest people in the city. And I told him this, and it of course it came true.
Yeah, he's
it was like the foresight that I had to be able to see that.
Yeah, you called it for sure. I just love how normal he is. He's just like a normal person. I really like that. I think he's getting into some gang shit now, but for the most part, he's just like a normal guy that works really hard, and it's just really nice to be around him.
You'd be surprised the connections this guy has too.
Like, oh yeah, he's like super well connected. I mean, he has a katana too, so yeah.
That just means he's got money.
Is that I thought you could only buy it if like CG liked you or whatever.
Just $1 million.
I think that was the thing. I think it's a little bit more of just a money thing now, isn't it? Mostly. I don't know.
See, I don't get that. Like, if it's just a money thing, why do you want it?
Responding to house robberies yesterday. There's a guy in a katana just running.
I don't know. I think it's just like everything else in the server, right? Oh, someone else has this. I need to keep up. I need one too. I think that's all it is. I don't know.
So, do people typically not use the katanas as weapons? They just use it as a status symbol?
Mr. K does, and he transforms into a dragon.
Well, I knew that.
Oh, well,
dude, he's so fucking cool. I love Mr. K.
I thought you were talking about a car, but no, you're talking about a katana.
Yeah, talking about a katana.
Took me a while to pick up on that. I can get a katana. Just take it off of a suspect and use it.
Easy come up, dude. Easy come up.
Yeah.
Dude, all I gotta do is get them to pull it. I actually don't know if it can be used as a weapon or if it's.
It can. Actually, I say it can. It used to be. It might just be a status. It might just be like an object you wear now. Who knows?
Well, it's definitely the past. I'm just trying to remember. I was maybe like 3 months ago. I remember having some lawyer work about one. So at least within the last 3 months, it still worked as a weapon. It's actually surprising the amount of times that it doesn't come up. I would say in the DOJ. Like I think that people would be trying to seize them more often.
Well, it's like a stupid status item for a lot of people, so
they don't want to risk losing it.
Yeah.
It's got my Nopixel status on it. Well, let them know I've got money.
The Prio blade. Okay, I had a fun question that I was thinking about the other day. If you could have one like ability in Nopixel that everybody thought was okay, so it can't be like super powerful, but it's just something that your character could do that other people can't do. And
okay, so
and the example that I thought of was I used to play and I used to watch people play H1Z1 a lot. And one of the things you can do in H1Z1 is when you're in a gunfight in your car, you can just get out of your car and your car keeps going. So I was like, what if in Nopixel you could just get out of your car at like 90 and just like start like blasting or just walk away? I think that'd be fun and neat and pretty strong, but not like crazy.
You like sit in the passenger seat as it rolls past?
What's that?
You can like sit in the
you can like jump in the passenger seat and shoot out and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, it'd be like 4 NPCs that follow me everywhere, like pets.
I love that.
Mechanic works, and if I, direct it to attack, they pull out guns and shoot you. And I can get them to stand in certain formations and shit. And sometimes I can switch from my character
class over here.
Sometimes I can switch from my character to theirs. To like the NPC model and say the boss will speak too now. So I don't have
absolute narcissist.
You have your whole entourage. That's your power. You should have an entourage.
Yeah.
That's all you.
And the main character grunts, but he doesn't talk to you unless you meet a criteria. Like I've always wanted to be in a gang that I control everything, and if I lose, it's me who loses. I don't care.
That's such a Chains thing to do.
Oh man, that's
great. Getting chauffeured and shit, and then getting them. I just want menacing pets in big suits. Have you guys watched Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
No.
The Salamanca twins. That those guys, those bald-headed, suit and tie, Agent 47 looking guys.
I love those guys. Yeah.
So mine would just be to enable my Werechicken RP. So it would
Transform into a Werechicken.
Yeah. So for those of you unaware, Tidus has an item on him that keeps the Werechicken at bay. Presumably, if he were to ever lose that item, I would love for my character to be able to actually turn into, a Werechicken of some sort. The only thing I really have that I keep, like, there's the rooster mask that doesn't really work for well with my character considering the beard.
You can get like chicken legs as well,
but like
chicken feet.
But to like have like a creepy Werechicken, like an only his kind of a skin, and then while he's running around to leave like chicken feathers behind, sort of like the banana peels the monkeys throw around or whatever. I'd love to be able to, because I have those items, I leave them everywhere as part of his RP, but just to like actually have them appear in the game and in the world as things, that would be dope as fuck.
Dude, you're unlocking like a hidden memory for me. So before Nopixel, I played on a server. It's dead now. It was called Rivalry RP, and there was this guy on there. Okay, I won't lie. There weren't a huge amount of like memorable role players there. There were a lot of people who were just giving it a go. A lot of just people who just wanted to play and have a good time and to do the GTARP thing, but. There were people like No Illusions, who plays Bobby Schmeagle, and like Megaphone and stuff like that, who started there. Myself, Fairs, who plays Patty Scratch Patrickson from The Lost. I think he's HOA now, but a lot of cool people who started there. But there was this guy, and I remember his roleplay being absolutely amazing. He played as like essentially the Werechicken, but during the day he was Johnny Cloaca, and his family was he came from the family of people who originally discovered the cloaca. Man, I wish I could remember more about this guy's story, but yeah, he like had this whole background about his family like discovering the cloaca, and it was like this really fucked up story, to be honest. But I just remember thinking like, damn, this guy really stands out on like a server of like not a lot of actual role players.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you just unlock that memory. He would literally turn into like a Werechicken, and we'd go up to the chicken factory and kidnap people there, and like
that's
hopefully
great.
not do anything to their cloacas. But
I swear I didn't steal it from him. I swear.
Oh my god, are you Johnny Cloaca?
No,
Johnny Cloaca?
No.
Actually, the dynasty.
The whole thing was, in all honesty, there was like Wayward was playing like the little chicken thing.
Yeah, the chicken man. Chicken man.
Well, no, like a chicken, not a man, a chicken. And he was running around the courthouse, and he was disappearing, admin panel stuff or whatever. Then everyone's all like, "Oh, it's a chicken." And Tidus, I've always played Tidus as like doesn't believe in any of the supernatural shit. Like he's always like, "Nah, bullshit," right? So starts making jokes about like, I really feel like maybe eating an omelet or some chicken wings or some shit like that, right? And then so the chicken attacks Tidus, puts him down, and then just ever since, just the RP has gone that way. So we just, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, kind of going back to lawyering in the city and the Nopixel meta, what have you. Everyone kind of wants silly stuff going on, right? So you have to kind of adjust, and that's kind of the way we've adjusted Tidus, is he's this fucking Werechicken character. So
heck yeah, I like that. That's a good like because you played that out for a long time. That's like been a consistent.
Yeah, well,
lore.
Well, yeah. It's in lore, and it's not even like my favorite part about it. Like it's not like I didn't create it; it just kind of happened, sort of, I guess, right? And then we just kind of keep it going. So most like anytime anyone's ever Tidus, I have never on Tidus RP'd out like laying an egg, but everyone else always does it for me. So it's always anytime it happens, yeah, I'm just like, okay, here we go. I guess he laid an egg this time. But I always drop bones and feathers, so I guess what else is new, right? So
oh my god, this guy laid an egg.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah. Change, you gotta go pretty soon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you wanna ask or do anything before you bow out?
Yes, Titus,
Mhm,
Mr. Voladin.
mhm,
I kind of tried to save your character's life. Was it yesterday, right?
mhm, mhm.
I believe I am owed a free court win, no matter
A
how
free
much I throw
court
it.
win, no matter how
Yes.
much you throw it. We'll
True, he's
see.
calling
We'll
it
see.
in.
I mean, that's
Honestly,
fair.
I really love Titus and Carmine's relationship. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
You know
But
what would be a
Hey,
good way to do that? It would be in character saying, "Hey, just so you know, Carmine has a free
what?
court win that he can check in, they can cash in. This isn't a very important court case. Would you mind letting me let him have this?" and then if they say yes, you can just let Carmine completely throw. Not tell Carmine, by the way. Let him completely throw and then give it to him. And he'll be like, "I won?" I'd be
We'll
so
see.
down to facilitate that.
You know who's gonna be the most mad? Because they're not gonna be in the loop is the people who bet against me in chat.
Oh, so perfect.
Hopefully they don't watch this. Here's to hoping.
Yeah.
Just tell them in character.
I was
So,
so surprised that we got through that one bench trial without giving you contempt. By the way, I
It was
like,
so
what can I
close.
say?
I was trying not to. I'll see you guys later. It was fun.
Yeah, man.
Love you, buddy.
Bye,
Yeah.
52.
See you, man.
It's fun. That's fun. That's nice. I love this podcast. I know I say it every week, but it's so
Yeah,
good.
it's great, man. Fucking invite me back anytime, man. You guys are great. I love this. This is
Heck yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Last second. We had a different judge scheduled, but life happens.
Which judge?
Don't worry about
Oh,
it. Judge McFarland.
McFarlane.
What's the director that does King of the Hill? Judge Mike Judge, is that it?
Mike Judge,
Mike.
yeah.
Yeah, Mike Judge. Yeah, Mike Judge was gonna come on, but
I got you.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Any other like DOJ RP related questions you guys have or anything? Like, I mean,
What's have you had any like judge behind closed doors arguments yet? And I don't mean like out of character, but like, have you had any like big arguments with any other judges yet?
no. I mean, I'd say that we as judges do a pretty good job of seeking consensus before we really make a decision at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So even if like I mean, I think everything's kind of generally constructive. I mean, obviously you have people with strong opinions, so not everything is always immediately the most some people have strong opinions, right? But at the
Sure.
same time, I'm pretty sure I'd say at the end it's a lot of consensus building and like because at the end of the day, the goal is that there's always going to be differences in how judges do things and apply things and that sort of thing, right? Like you look, for example, like I don't know if you guys saw that case with Sebastian Ableton. There was like a mountain of circumstantial evidence, but Grayson still, even if he was at like 80-90%, still not 100%. I can't say beyond a reasonable doubt, so therefore I'm not going to find you guilty, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if every judge finds that the same. I don't know if I would have, because I signed off on a lot of the warrants and I was sitting there going through like, holy shit, this is a mountain of circumstantial evidence. Like, yeah, it's all circumstantial, but like there's a fucking mountain of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, there are sometimes I think going to be different decisions made one way or the other. It's just a matter of are we generally being consistent with the expectations that are going to come at the DOJ, I think, right? So like, especially when it comes to like, so for example, there's a lot of time, this is a great example with warrants, right? Especially for someone like me or Josta, who, we're relatively new to judge. We don't really have the cop side of that either. So we often ask questions about the warrants that come in, like, hey, this is not the typical warrant that I would see. What is our general thoughts and consensus on this type of a warrant, right? So there's a lot of consensus building that happens as judges, and I think that that's very healthy, honestly. It's a small group, right? So it's easy, I think.
Yeah, I get that. Do you wish there were more lawyers? Are you happy with the amount of lawyers? What is you as a judge, what would make you happy in the server? Like happier, like for the DOJ in general?
Definitely more lawyers, right? So but that's part of the reflection of the time that I play at as well, right? When I play like the EU into NA hours, that we just have a lack of lawyers just generally, right? I think when a guy gets into NA time, I think there's a lot more lawyers around. And so I don't know if it's as much of a need there. But yeah, I just like honestly, and this is and you know, obviously Hydra, you got to do what you got to do, right? But it kind of pains me a little bit that it's like, oh man, we're gonna lose him to cop eventually, you know?
Yeah,
Because
I'm wondering, is there a way I
as
can?
many people to stay in as possible,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said being a cop wasn't my like true love on Nopixel. I like being. I wish I could do both. You can't really. Although I mean, I could be a prosecutor, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Could I be a cop and the DA? Probably not, right?
Well, okay, so there's no DA's office, right? Now, I mean, you'd have to talk with you know, the command structure and find out sort of how much they would want you to be, you know, one or the other. But like, there's definitely a need for prosecutors. Like, you look at like Norman Adams, has a lot of prosecution work. I've seen him, you know, more often than not. He jumps in a bench trial. He'll just take the prosecution side. You know, you can see kind of what's happening, kind of do something like what Norman's doing. But I mean, more at the end of the day, I just want to encourage as much RP in the DOJ as possible, and that just usually just involves bringing more people in, or at least more people. Okay, at least having enough people that people can feel like they're engaging us and we're available. Because I think that's a lot of the issue, and that's like why one of the reasons I want to be a judge is because I currently have the time to be in the server and available as a judge, and I feel that that is the prerequisite of having the lawyers. This is if you build it, they will come Field of Dreams thing, right? Like you need the judge there so that the DOJ work can happen, and then the lawyers will show up, and then when the lawyers show up, then we can have paralegals show up, right? Because that's the other thing. When was the last time I saw the same? Like right now, I'm aware of what, like maybe like a small handful of paralegals that are even trying to get into the DOJ right now, right?
Right.
So, you know, it all starts with those getting more people involved. Just getting more people involved in the DOJ, right? Just generally. And so
Sure.
yes, that is 100% what I want to do. And that's why I try to be very welcoming as well. I know I've been that new to the DOJ person where the judges are a little gruff, you know? And you kind of have to be like, well, I'm going to succeed. This character is going to succeed kind of to despite them a little bit. Right.
Right.
And I'm trying to play Tidus more as like the welcoming, like DOJ dad kind of a character. Like, yeah, come on, let's get you in here. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah. You do that really well. You make yourself very like available in like a lot of different ways. It's nice.
Yeah. Again, and kind of going back to like kind of easy, it's a self-insert.
Like, yeah, just fucking,
but it's not, but it is a little bit.
That's great.
But yeah, like, so, I don't know. It's something that I feel is needed. It's a role that I want to fill right now, and I have the time to do it. So let's do it for now, right? Might all change in a month, and all of a sudden I got, you know, life changes. Who knows? I mean, I've kind of been in a bit of a holding pattern right now. I kind of have some big life changes kind of coming up, but I'm just kind of waiting. And so it's just kind of like, I'm not really sure. So this is kind of a good, like, it feels like I can help contribute to something for a while. So it's kind of why I'm doing it.
Sure. Yeah. Anything you're willing to talk about in regards to like life changes or?
Well, it's nothing like super private or whatever. It's just a matter of, like I kind of mentioned before, mental health stuff just sort of, you know, kind of derailed the whole career thing. I'm basically I'm moving back home to my my hometown, back with family, basically.
Okay.
Just
Dude, it's so important to have like a support network,
100%.
especially as somebody with like pretty severe depression.
Yeah.
if if you don't have a good support network and you like start going into a spiral, dude, you can kill yourself real easy.
Well, luckily I have the best damn dog ever that's kept me sane in my darkest hours. Let's just say, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, generally that's the idea, right? Is get the support group, get back to a place where I feel a little bit more comfortable with, who I am. Well, so I mean, I am comfortable with who I am, but just have the support around for when a guy fails and can't really do very well, that it's there to help pick you up, right?
Yeah.
And then once I do that, just kind of general health and fitness, and then back into the career pool again, kind of a goal, right? So whatever that looks like, maybe it, honestly, I would love for it to look like full-time streaming, because I can do it and I make enough that it's, okay or whatever. I don't know what that looks like right now. But that'd be great if it was. And yeah, we'll see what happens, but probably at least until the summer-ish, I don't expect to really know certainly one way or the other which way it's gonna go, with what's gonna happen. At least that's my expectation. But I've just, like I said, I've just kind of been in this kind of holding pattern of like,
Sure.
I know what's happening down the line, but we're not seeing anything in like the day-to-day right now. So
yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, dude, it's good that you're, paying attention to that you're staying focused on stuff like that.
Well, I have to, right? Like, I mean, I'm the kind of guy who like same as like that's why I'm very strict on the hours that I'm in the server, because like I went, so when I was at my lowest of lows, I didn't have like a good sleep schedule at all, right? And that was literally like the first thing that I did that started me on my road to recovery. So like, dude, it's like also
so
the first thing that so it's like, I stayed up one day, which was when Bill Mays was supposed to get married, but didn't. But I like stayed up like one day beyond like 1 o'clock at night in the past like 4 years, and that used to be like my thing, was like, I don't give a fuck what time I go to bed, right? But yeah,
turns out that stuff's pretty important.
Yeah. So if I can give any people out there who may be listening to this, one thing is that sleep schedule, that routine is so important, and that's why I stick to the hours that I do, because I also need the time from when I'm done RPing to just like deflate for the day and just like relax, or else again I can't even sleep. I'm just like so wired from what was going on, talking to people and doing all that stuff, right?
Yep. It's very easy to ruin your mental health for a couple hours of good role play, and people don't like quite get that sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've actually been trying to do. I listen to a lot of this guy Andrew Huberman. He's a neuroscientist and an ophthalmologist, which is a fancy way of saying an eye doctor.
Okay.
And one of the things that he talks about is like how important it is to get sunlight in your eyeballs early in the morning.
Okay.
So I work really early mornings. I wake up at 3 a.m. so I can go to work so that I can be home in time for 11 a.m. tsunami, right?
Right.
Like, this has been my life for the last couple of years. I've been working really shit. I go to sleep early and I hate it, and I wake up early and I hate it, but I get to be done with work by like noon, right, basically, and then jump into my other work, which is Nopixel.
Yeah.
And I was really happy with it for a while. But it just starts wearing on you after a while when you're like not, because then I'm inside while it's sunny out and I'm not done until the sun's gone. So now I make sure I don't start my stream until I've been outside and got like 10, 15 minutes of sunlight in my eyeballs. I'll literally just go stand outside and walk around in my yard, or go for a short, like really low energy walk, and just keep my head up and like look at the sky. Don't stare at the sun, but no glasses, no glass in between you. And what that does is when you get sunlight in your eyes early in the morning, that begins a process in your body that around 12 to 16 hours later, your body will make you go to sleep, right? It is starting the process to like make you tired. You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah, I follow. Yep.
So then suddenly it's nighttime and you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. And then you're like, wait, I'm not exhausted. My body's telling me to go to sleep. There's a difference.
Right.
But yeah, it's helped a lot. Just little stuff like that, man. Just keeping an eye on it, paying attention, not eating like 3 hours before I go to bed. That's a big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, my next one is obviously just general fitness, right? Like I've been one of those people who like I was always in and out of the gym like my whole life sort of thing, but I'm just like a naturally like bigger dude, right?
Are you?
But
What are you? What's your? I actually have no
oh
idea what you look like.
yeah, what honestly one day I'll face cam. It's just a matter of I just don't have it or have it set up or whatever. But like
Hmm.
I'm like 6'2". Right now I'm probably about 270-ish. I've probably been as much as like 300 or whatever, but I'm like
Sure.
just one of those dudes who just like I'm broad shouldered, thick chest, so like I
You're a
carry my
barrel
weight
boy.
really well. Yeah, so like I'm the kind of guy who like even when I would be like say 250 or something, like I'm showing obviously now that I'm pretty big, right? But
Hmm.
like if I'm like 250, people would be like, "Oh, you're like 220 or something." I just carry it very well or whatever,
Right.
right?
Right.
But yeah, it's just generally like I'm 37. I'm gonna be 40 in a few years. I just want to get back into good shape more than anything. I've been sitting on my ass for the past like 4 or 5 dealing with mental health and and then just COVID and the lockdowns and all that stuff, right? I just need to get back and be active again more than anything
Sure.
else.
Makes sense.
And then leading into that, like I said, whether it be through streaming or just getting back into something, even if it's completely unrelated to what I did before, or something different. Once I kind of get that stuff figured out, I'm just I don't know, gotta get money figured out again after that. So
Yeah. So let's talk about money a little bit. So you've been streaming on Nopixel for quite a while, but in general, when I go and peep the stream, your viewer count's not super high, right?
no, I'm low viewers.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing to be clear. I mean,
It's whatever.
but I feel like as a judge, your numbers I have seen your numbers definitely go up based on being a judge, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And when
yeah.
there's a
So
court case, they go up even more.
yeah, they've been slowly going up, right? For sure. And yes, during when court cases they go up even more, and then again, even depending on who the case is, what it's for, stuff like that. Even honestly, sometimes it's even as little as like a phone call. Sometimes you just get like a phone call from someone, and all of a sudden you'll have like 50 people stop in and say hi or something, right? So,
Hmm.
um, it's kind of amazing, sort of what sometimes kind of the outreach of the community, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, generally pretty small viewers.
Yeah. Um, what do you think you could do as a judge to attract more viewers to your stream? Because I think you're a very funny guy and you're very likable, and it's easy to like hang out and do other stuff. But what would you tell viewers if you wanted to incite them to come see you or other judges?
I don't know. I guess for me, I'm the sort of person who I'm just kind of chill. I'm hanging out. If you just want to relax and have a good time and talk about some RP or whatever's going on, just come on by. Um, I feel that like I'm not the sort of person who's going to be able to like do like a persona as a streamer and then that not be them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's not really who I am, and it's not something I'm sure I'm capable of doing even.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just here. I'm hanging out. If you want to come hang out with me, that's great. If you're gonna be in if you're gonna be in one of these guys' channels, that's awesome too. They're great people too. I don't know. I'm just here to have a good time and hang
Sure.
out and hopefully enable your favorite streamer. And if you want to come hang out with me, that's cool
Dude, you
too.
do a really good job when you're streaming of like letting your chat talk to you about court cases without really like letting that influence you too much, right? You can say, "Oh, I could see why you'd say that, but it's actually this." Or if they bring up an idea you had thought, you're like, "Oh, that's actually a really good idea." I don't know that that's the way that Tidus would go, but like an actual judge in real life might make that decision.
Yeah, well, so I will say that like hopefully I'm not doing that too much while I'm actually deliberating, because I do try to ignore chat a little bit then, right? Just because like okay, I'm gonna focus in on what I'm doing here and
Sure.
not over there. And in fact, even if I'm doing like an actual court case, I haven't done it too much here. But if it's an actual serious case, I'm not even gonna react. I'm just gonna be focused in on that. I'm
Yeah,
not even
really,
gonna have
really what
chat.
I'm trying
I'm
to
not even
say
gonna
is
put
that
any
you
chat,
don't
right?
ignore your chat to do judge things. You like acknowledge them and like talk to them while you're doing judge things. So you're still staying impartial to the chat, but you don't like
Mm.
disregard them. This is how it's felt to me. Maybe I've gotten special treatment because I'm me, but
Maybe I'm not sure. It depends on the case too, right? And if again, maybe if it's like a bench trial or something, I'll be like, yeah, for sure. Let's see what's going on. I'll freely interact one way or the other, right?
mhm.
Um, it something I'm still working on too. I mean, I haven't been a judge again for too long, right?
So. Right. Yeah,
but yeah, definitely always willing to talk things out with people and explain the point of view. I mean, because partly for me, kind of going back to again before, right? I feel like I'm always going to be under the gun and having to explain myself.
Sure.
And if you can explain yourself, then at least even if you maybe made the wrong call, at least you can show why you made the call you did, right?
Right. I can see that. Yeah, I can't imagine that level of. There's already a lot of pressure as a cop to make sure, your charges are correct, that you can defend yourself. Because if somebody does want to take it to court and your stuff doesn't add up, you're going to get screamed at from like 9 different angles.
Yeah.
So as a judge, I can't imagine like the stress of like, okay, let's not set a precedent that's going to make everyone fucking hate me.
Yeah. I haven't had to deal. That's like the one like thing I'm a little bit anxious for yet is like when I have to deliver that verdict again. Like I haven't had to yet. I'll probably be very anxious when it has to happen again.
Yeah, it'll come. I mean, there's every judge sets a precedent sooner or later, right? So yeah,
for sure.
I always want to, when I'm on a criminal, I always want to kidnap judges. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's a high consequence thing to do, and that's just the way I'm built.
Well, and I was gonna say, as long as there's a reason for it, I'm always down, right? Like, I mean, well, even if there's no fucking reason for it, I don't care. I just can't be willing. That's all. Just don't make me a willing hostage. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
But like I said, like and going back to that thing yesterday, the other day too, right? Like, I mean, it's not. If all of a sudden I barricade myself in the chambers and I don't let myself out, well, then look at the RP that happened as a result of it, right? The Littlemans had their second shootout. Maybe it was just a little silly thing or whatever, but like, I don't know. It just leads to good times, right? So yeah, I'm down for it. I don't want to all of a sudden become like it becomes like a 10 Tidus, like the 10 Shelly thing or whatever, right? Like, we don't want that. But yeah, I mean, as long as someone's willing for the consequences to be there. I guess the other thing is too, like, I don't know how the cops react. Like, what did they charge you with, Troms, for that? Was it just kidnapping a government employee?
I think so. Actually, hold on. I can tell you. We got 8 times attempt to murder a government employee.
That was a shootout.
Extortion.
Okay,
extorting you.
Yeah.
Criminally negligent ownership of a firearm.
Right, that's
the
one
first degree.
That
criminally negligent ownership of a firearm.
That's the new charge.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. He specifically. I think that's why you came back to kidnap me again, right? Is because he didn't get his license to stick long enough for him to get that charge, basically.
Oh, I didn't get kidnapping a government employee, but Jim did.
Weird.
That's funny. Attempted first degree murder because I shot Stim in the head during the.
Wait, why'd you shoot Stim?
So
right. I remember that.
We were doing a gun. So there's like a little meeting room in the back of ammunition. And so we had Tidus give us a class on stand your ground clause and like what it means. And so we started doing like scenarios. And I ended up shooting. I looked between Stim and Billy. Billy had the shotgun, so I shot Stim. Just shot him in the head.
That's great.
I don't even remember why. I just did it, and
you're like, oh, so really don't do this, something like that.
He walked out after he got arrested. Because he was on the ground the entire time. He walked out on parole.
That motherfucker.
Because I shot him in the head.
That is not the Littleman way.
No, he loved it. He was having a great time.
That's great.
I might make okay, so I don't think I'm going to make a new Littleman. What I do think is I want Pyro to be my James Randall, basically, right? I want him to be my goofy, fun. I want him to be a character that people are like excited to see, And I want him to be like, oh, Pyro, go set that tree on fire. Then go set the tree on fire. Whatever, fuck it. And then I want him to, I'm going to steal a little bit from Crystal here. And I'm going to have him have like buddies, like friends. And he's like, you're my friend. And that'll be like, he won't set those people on fire. And if they ask him to set someone on fire, he'll definitely do it.
This guy's a fire starter.
And I'm buying a bunch of notepads with his money because I don't just want to burn things and then leave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like leave a note with like an ASCII flame, because you can't use emojis on those notes for some reason.
I kind of hope that one day I get to play my wolf spider character and I get to run into this character. I think it'd be a good combo.
Wolf spider.
Wolf spider. Biter.
I've been paying attention.
All right. Spider it is.
Yeah, that's the one that's the chicken man, right?
Yeah, that's that one.
Oh, that's funny.
I was excited when I heard you were going to be the guest today. I actually looked last night when I was headed to bed and there was nothing, and then I got up this morning. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I thought
it's Voladin.
I thought I knew who it was, but they were not available. So I was like, screw it.
Okay.
Let's do this. This is great. And with the recent Littleman thing, I was super excited.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't think it just, at this point, it doesn't mean anything. It's not as like meaningful as it could be, as we've been looking for like an opportunity to maybe have like that breaking moment, you know, where the Littleman's finally snap, but it never happens, and guns are so rare these days. It was just like, it was a good moment for what it was.
I'll just
It's a fun little shootout, holdout. The cops got to win, and they got to win in a cool fashion, and like only 2 of them actually went down. You guys charged us with big shit. You know, it was just good. It was cleaned up real fast, real quick. Nobody was mad. It was just like a healthy shootout for everybody involved.
Good. Yeah.
That's like, because it's gonna happen.
That's kind of the big thing with the Littleman, though. More often than not, is it's a good time for everyone involved, right?
That's what we go for, right? Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, as much as I like doing role play and whatnot, I still want to make sure that like everybody around me is having a good time, and just like kind of take care of their wants and their needs. Because at the end of the day, we're playing video games, guys. It's a video game.
It's not a real job, Claire.
It's not a real job, Claire.
I want to make a mug that says that.
I feel like there are a lot of people who take it very, very seriously because it is their job, right? Like, streaming is what they do, and being a cop character is what they do. And so like, some of them forget that we live in a made up imaginary world where, you know, we make up everything as we go, and everything's made up and the points don't matter.
True.
Great show, by the way. I grew up on that show. That one was fantastic.
Like half the cast was Canadian.
There was a Twitch channel that was I was binging it on. Like, it was all the original stuff.
Yeah.
And that went down, and then I ended up now I'm watching the new stuff, the like newer season. It started off kind of rocky, but then I think it found its footing. Plus, it's got Wayne, Ryan, and Colin.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be sad when one of those guys dies.
That was the key of the first iteration in the first place, anyway. So
yeah, Drew hasn't been back yet though. Colin Mockery's so fucking. He's so funny, dude. We're getting off a bit of a tangent here, but he's actually a genius. So every time they do this news one where they'll like start off like a newscast or whatever, and every single time he has like the best pun to start it off. That's just like completely off the top of his head, and it's amazing.
I guess that's what happens when you improv for what, like 40 years?
Yeah, for actually 40 years. He's been doing it for a long time.
That's great.
This shit is so funny.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of Nopixel. As I've like been thinking about like my career and my streaming and my future and like what I'm doing with my life, I keep coming back to this thought that like, if I stop streaming, that means I've wasted the last X years of my life streaming Nopixel. And then I was talking to my girlfriends and they were like, dude, you have literally thousands of hours of improv, comedy, role play. Like, these are like skills that you have developed, and you're the kind of person that you're not going to go get like an office job. You're going to find like, you're going to go be a stand-up comic. You're going to try to do that, or you're going to go, work as a writer for like a comedy show or something. You'll find something in your wheelhouse. Like, just because this doesn't work out doesn't mean that you have to go work at Kinko's, right? It's like, that's not.
Well, and then don't even forget, like, just look at what you do as the work as a cop. You take photographs, you make evidence reports, you write a statement, you defend that in a. I mean, it's still a role play court of law, but I mean, all of these are transferable skills to whatever the fuck you want to apply them to, right?
I keep telling Jenny too, because Jenny's like really new to the streaming thing, the whole scene, and keep telling her that like this translates, all the skills you're learning from being a streamer translate into something that is relevant these days. Like whether it's like a social media manager, or you know, you just work to do something with like social media, or even Trey who works with Team Liquid, like he essentially does like MMO marketing and shit like that with Team Liquid.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it's enormous. He's like a partner manager with Team Liquid, so I don't know. It's just those kind of things, just like being a streamer, being out in this environment, like these are all, just like Voladin said, transferable skills that you'll get.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I've been on that side of like when you are hiring people, right? And it's not about, you never have like the perfect candidate with the perfect resume of exactly what you want. It's like, how does this person fit into what I need them to do, right? And if you can show that through whatever means, if it's thousands of hours as a streamer where you're managing a chat, but then performing, but then also doing the production of OBS on the other screen over here, and then in your free time you're managing something else where you're like, especially for like the cops, like look how much like. Are you telling me that like Nikki right now couldn't go and apply somewhere as like a high level management in some like she does that on a daily basis during Nopixel time as a cop, right? Oh, yeah. So like it's all transferable. It's just a matter of like when you're in that interview or writing that resume, like how you show whoever you're applying to how you can get the job done, right?
Yeah, these are all like important skills that if you just like reframe the way you think about them, like you realize like, and it's, your time is almost never wasted. Even if you're just playing games, that's like typically, unless you're like stressing yourself out, that's typically like considered like rest, right? You're resting, you're playing games, and like, you're being passive and enjoying yourself. And like, that's a good thing. So yeah, just if you're hearing this and you're worrying that you're wasting your time, just remember that you're only wasting your time.
Give up. Oh, sorry. That's not what I was supposed to say.
All right. Yespixel, episode 28. Could you imagine?
All right,
loser, give up, loser.
The ICU. So
yeah. Sorry. But yeah. We're right around the 2-hour mark now, but seriously, you're not wasting your time unless you have other like important life things you should be doing. Then maybe you're not optimizing the time that you have. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Voladin. Really appreciate you. Dude, I feel like you and I have become better buds since I ran for judge and since I've been a lawyer. And it's been nice. It just feels a lot easier to like message you and like chat about things. And I just want to make sure that you know that we're here if you ever want to chat. We got the fun Discord. We'll do game nights and stuff. I keep saying we'll do it. We'll do it again. We've done it before.
Just let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to talk about one last thing real quick. I want to talk about banned people on the server. There are a couple people that we wanted to have on that were banned recently. And we might still have them on. Obviously there's, a little concern about, will the administration team be upset at us for having banned people on? Ultimately, I think as long as we don't let them use this as a platform to shit talk the server, it should be fine. And I don't think they're the kind of people that would do that anyway. So we'll talk amongst ourselves and decide if that's something we're comfortable doing. But more importantly, what I have done as a person is I've reached out to some people that were banned recently, and I've literally just checked in on them. If you have friends that were in the server and you don't see them anymore, just send them a message. Just saying, hey man, how you doing? What's going on? How's life? I know shit sucks in this regard, but how's everything else? It means a lot. I've gotten a lot of, really, candid responses about like, you were the only person who has reached out and asked me how I'm doing. Oh, so geez. If you have friends who are no longer on the server for one reason or another, just they're still friends, just check on them, make sure your people are okay. It's a big deal to lose a community. It really sucks. That's one of like the hierarchy of needs is like a community. So just check on your friends. I think that's I'm happy to end there.
Get your prostate examined.
And get your prostate examined. They typically don't do that until after you're 40 these days, unless you have an indicative reasons why.
Doesn't matter. Just go ask.
But yeah, if you just ask, they just stick a finger up your butt. It's not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Yespixel, episode 28. Be sure to check out Voladin17 on Twitch, twitch.tv/Voladin17. Anything else you want to plug before we call it?
No, that's it. That's all.
All right. Good show. Bye.